Call on Deputy Costello.
Thank you very much, Can Corla, Las Can Corla. And I want to share my time with Deputies Kathleen Lynch, Kieran Lynch, Jan O'Sullivan and Tony Gregory.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. I must say, I was amazed listening to Deputy O'Rourke and some of her remarks, and it seems to me that the Linehan clan, the Minister for Justice and the good Deputy, are playing this spurious constitutional card. And certainly I would like very much if we could get the Minister to publish the Attorney-General's views on the matter, his advice on the matter, so that we can see precisely what the situation is. Because it seems to us impossible that there is any offence to the Constitution, in the sense that the Constitution refers to the union of a man and woman constituting marriage, and we are talking about same-sex couples. I'd like, first of all, Can Corla, to say that I'm delighted to have the opportunity of speaking on this civil union bill, and I want to compliment Deputy Brendan Howland for introducing it again after his early introduction in the last Dáil. And the purpose of the bill is to give legal recognition to the partnership of two persons of the same sex. It seeks to create an equivalent status relationship for people of the same sex who cannot marry under our Constitution. It provides as closely as possible for the rules of law applying to marriage to apply also to these civil unions. And indeed it is this sensible approach that allows the entire bill to be constituted of only 10 short sections, and also to avoid on what would be indeed a very awkward knock-on effect, which would require other legislative amendments in other complex sectors of legislation. I believe that Irish society has changed quite dramatically in recent decades, though listening to Deputy Mansra, sometimes you'd wonder in some sectors of Fianna Fáil, though I certainly was quite impressed by the remarks of Deputy Charlie O'Connor and his commitment in this area. I believe Irish society is now far more mature and extrovert and understanding than in previous decades. Church and state have a much greater awareness of their separate and respective roles. The role of the state to legislate for all of its citizens is now clearly respected and recognised by all the churches. Indeed, the state now fully recognises its duty in this regard as well. Gay and lesbian citizens are entitled to expect that the state will provide them with the same basic rights as all other citizens in Ireland. Thus, we as legislators in the Dáil and Seanad have a duty to address the issues where inequalities arise in the treatment of gay and lesbian citizens. We have a duty to address the constitutional bar on marriage of same-sex couples, with the consequent denial of a host of rights, privileges, benefits on the one hand, and a host of obligations, penalties and sanctions on the other. The status relationship conferred by this civil union bill provides an avenue for approximating the rights of gay and lesbian couples within the Constitution. Indeed, in the area of adoption, it enhances the rights of the child. It provides for parties to a civil union who are living together to be able to apply to adopt a child, which is welcome. But more importantly, it establishes categorically in Section 8 for the first time quote, the principle that the first and paramount consideration of adopting is the best interest and welfare of the child throughout his or her life, and B, the concomitant principle that no person, whether by virtue of membership of a particular class of persons or otherwise, has a right to adopt a child, or any particular child, or a right to preferential consideration of his or her application to adopt a child or a particular child. End of quote. And I think that's a very important section. It is therefore, I would argue, Laskin Corla, disappointing that this fine bill was postponed cynically by the then Minister for Justice in February 2007 for 6 months until after the general election, and this by a minister who prided himself on his liberal and egalitarian views and his membership of Amnesty International and other civil liberty bodies. But it is more disappointing that the new Minister for Justice, Brian Lenihan, should follow in the same footsteps and, as I say, play a spurious constitutional card. And certainly I would like to see the publication of the Attorney-General's advice. But effectively what he has done is he has deleted the entire Labour Party motion and replaced it with the standard Fianna Fáil kick-to-touch type amendment. The Minister and the Government, the Minister says that the Government will prepare a scheme of a bill providing a supportive legal framework for same-sex couples in committed relations sometime in the unspecified future. We don't have a date, despite what people have been saying. Even more disappointing, Lascan Corla, is the Green Party's alacrity in settling so snugly into the comfort zone of the Fianna Fáil tent. And nothing illustrates that better than Deputy Mary White here today, who stated, and I quote her, "Rushed legislation is bad legislation." This legislation was published in 2006. It was debated in 2007. In February of 2007, it was promised within 6 months, and 8 months have now gone by, and all we get is an unspecified promise of something in the unforeseeable future. So we're not really talking about the rush legislation. But it amazed me even more, Lascan Corla, and I hate to say this because you're in the chair, to listen to you on Morning Ireland today and state that you're enthusiastic and principled support for the bill this year, in February this year, while you were in opposition, that now that principled support has become a pragmatic support for the bill. And I suppose that that's the reason why you will probably be voting against the bill later on today. But really, it is the independent Deputy Finian McGrath who takes the biscuit in terms of principled U-turns. On the 21st of February, speaking on this bill in the Dáil, Deputy McGrath said, and I quote, "I support this progressive legislation, and unlike the Taoiseach, Minister McDougall at the time, I am standing by the Republic. We must build and develop a republic based on equality and respect for human rights," end of quote. And then he ended his speech with a ringing endorsement for the bill. Quote, "Deputies should open their minds and hearts and support this bill. It is concerned with accommodating and enjoying difference, diversity, powering success, and the gay, lesbian and bisexual people at the heart of Ireland's progress. It is the right thing to do, and I urge deputies to support the legislation." And he ends on that note. So none of us, I think, on this side of the House could have put it better than that. And I certainly hope that Deputies McGrath and yourself, Deputy Cuff and Deputy White, and the other deputies who are now in the Fianna Fáil tent will examine their principles, enunciated so clearly in the February 2007 debate, that you know what the right thing to do is, and you will do it by supporting the bill later on today. Thank you.
Thank you, Deputy Costello. Deputy Lynch.
Thank you.